What is going on, guys? It's Adam aka Marf. Today's show is going to be packed. We're going to be talking about everything that just happened and more. Again, the start of Cyber Polygon started today. One of the biggest drills for a cyber attack. So we'll talk about that and more right after this.
Lights dim, but I don't like them off. I like the lights dim, but I don't like them off. I like the lights dim, but I don't like them off. I like the lights dim, but I don't like them off. I like the lights.
Remember, nothing in this show should be considered legal, medical, or financial advice. The views of the callers can differ considerably and do not necessarily reflect the opinions of myself, Dex, or anyone else on the show. You should always do your own research and consult with professionals. The internet is full of fake news, so please take everything with a grain of salt.
I like the lights dim, but I don't like them off.
All right, what is going on, guys? My name is Adam aka Marf, and this is Marfoogle News. Today, we have a lot on our plate, so I'll just get through the basics of our show real quick. Again, this is a live show, so anything can happen. You can actually follow along on our website, marfooglenews.com. We make sure to back up everything we say. If it's a tweet, a video, a document, a picture, we make sure you have access to it on our website, so then you know exactly where you are getting your stories from. Again, this is all backed up, a bibliography of sorts, easy to navigate. Just look for today's thumbnail on the website, and when you click New York underwater, Elsa crushes the Bronx, it will actually show you every single article, tweet, video that we are going to show you here today. Today we have a lot of videos of course, floods, flash floods, all sorts of things. And then, of course, tweets from Elon, all sorts of weird stuff is going on. Not to mention, down below, if you go down there, there is web-only content that you will only find here that you cannot talk about on platforms. So that is at the very bottom. And then if you want to support us, we are independent. We are truly independent. No multi-channel network. No, of course, multi-billion-dollar company behind us. You are behind us. So again, if you want to support us on the right side, our Amazon link, PayPal, and things like that if you want to support. You don't have to, but it's there. Let's bring in my co-host / internet brother. What is going on, Dex, and how are you doing today?
Well, hello, Adam, and hello, Foogle fam. I'm doing just fine.
So let's get into the news. We already have some craziness here. It says evacuated residents from Crestview Towers in North Miami Beach get a brief moment to retrieve essential items. So apparently it says residents of the North Miami Beach condo Crestview Towers who were forced to evacuate over concerns about the building's structural integrity are being allowed to return to retrieve essential items on Friday. North Miami Beach officials ordered the 156-unit Crestview Towers evacuated a week ago following an audit of high-rise buildings 40 years old or older. The audit was ordered in response to the collapse of the nearby Champlain Towers South Condo complex in Surfside, which killed at least 78 and 62 people are still missing inside the rubble. Again, basically those people are now perished. So that's over 150 people that are basically gone. So that is why this triggered all of these other audits. And now, of course, they're saying that they're letting these people in. Kind of weird, though, Dex, that why would you even let somebody in there? You would think that they would have special people go in there and take it out if the thing could possibly, collapse on them.
Well, I don't know. If it was me, I don't know. I might take the chance and get my stuff because I'd want to get my stuff and not trust anybody else to get it, especially the most prized possessions, right? You leave all the junk, but, get the family photo album and the jewelry, right?
Well, yeah, and of course, one resident says, "I'm trying to get clothes, memories, jewelry, anything I can take now," said a resident named Rosie. Matta says it's not enough time. It says it's no time. What can I take in 15 minutes? Clothes, papers, that's it. So 15 minutes to go in is like, one of those supermarket shopper, spree television shows where they have to run in with a cart and grab whatever they can. But again, I think that this thing isn't going to collapse. I mean, how rare was that kind of collapse? I mean, they expect because there are older buildings that they're all going to do this. How many times have we seen buildings collapse like that? Not very. I mean, not here in third world countries, perhaps with an earthquake, but that was just the weirdest scenario ever. But again, the building there looks really, really crappy. And then
if nothing else, but nothing else, Adam, it is good that they're going in and looking at these, maybe not this building, these people getting kicked out, but to go audit some of this stuff and make sure that they pay attention and not let some of these older buildings get into a position where this does happen again is kind of a good thing, especially for the, somebody who lives there. They don't have the knowledge and to know that the building is in good shape or not. They just bought a home and they're living in the condo, right?
Yeah, exactly. Well, it's kind of a sad scenario all around. I just met somebody that actually had family that passed away in that scenario, which I wouldn't think would happen because obviously I'm in Seattle, Washington, and that is very far away. That's the opposite side of the country. They had their uncle was living there, and of course the uncle perished, but his wife did not. I believe that they're trying to, the news is trying to talk to, of course, his wife who was not there. So she survived. It was one of those scenarios, and we've seen a few stories about this where the survivor has survivor guilt. There was another gentleman that was in the building that basically left for a trip early, and he ended up not being in that rubble, and his wife was. So now he feels horribly guilty because his wife, of course, perished in the tragic accident there, So again, real messed up. I met somebody that pretty messed up stuff all around. Billionaire Branson set to fly to space aboard Virgin Galactic rocket plane. Yes, crazy Branson is apparently going to space. It says decades after burnishing his reputation as a wealthy daredevil mogul in a series of boating and hot air balloon expeditions, Richard Branson is poised to promote his burgeoning astrotourism venture by launching himself to the final frontier. It says Branson's Virgin Galactic Holding, Inc. is due on Sunday to send the company's passenger rocket plane, the VSS Unity, on its first fully crewed test flight to the edge of space, with the British billionaire founder among the 6 individuals strapping in for the ride. Now, one thing we should take a pool on is how many of these super elites that go on these first trips, how many of them are going to be in some sort of disastrous crash? I'm sure people are thinking like, this is the first time for some of these things. They've done tests unmanned, but now they're going to be doing it manned, and some of them are saying I'll be on the first flight. That's kind of nuts to me. That's a lot of confidence, though, right? Maybe that's kahunas too. Maybe that's the point of it too. Maybe they have more confidence in their letting on because they've done more tests unpublicly or not publicly, because that would be a thing for the stocks. If you think about it, if the owner of the company is confident in enough in the thing to go up there, then wouldn't that make investors say, okay, well, this is going to work? Exactly. And it's only 48 hours away, so time will tell, and we'll know soon what happens. Yeah, but who's going to be on it? There's still going to be so many people that are not going to believe it because there's just a tiny handful of people that are supposedly going up. So again, until I see space, until we all see space and it's something that you can just pay $100 and go up to space, I'm sure there's still going to be debate whether, what's really going on up there. And then flash flood warning hits New York City and New Jersey as Storm Elsa brings crazy weather up East Coast. So there was stories about people swimming in the subway. Of course, people using jet skis in the streets. We actually have some video of this. It says a flash flood warning was issued for New York City and New Jersey on Thursday as Tropical Storm Elsa swept up the East Coast. The National Weather Service warning came as residents began to share photos of intense flooding on major roads and in subway stations. Now, this is one of the photos, of course, I believe, of the subway. In fact, I believe over here on the left is a famous spot for buskers to hang out and play. So that is underwater right now, so I don't think there'll be any naked cowboys or whoever hangs out down there. And then I don't know the geographics of this, but this is a very famous spot. I've seen a lot of pictures from here. Does anybody know what bridge this is? Any New Yorkers can name this right here. Put it in the comments or put it in the chat below. And then we, of course, have some cars underwater here. These people are actually in what looks to be like kind of a utility truck, and they're all standing up on the back of it. Everybody is piled in the front of the cab and then in the back. This is actually an NYPD like riot truck or something. Is that what that is, Dex? Did you see that?
Yeah, that's what it looks like to me. Yeah, it's a big mover.
That's obviously that would have, not troops, but officers in the back to unload, almost like a SWAT vehicle of some sort. And then we have some videos here saying NYC starting to look like Venice, Italy. So let me turn myself on here so I can get my reactionary status here. So check this out. Jeez Louise. Let's go back there, buddies. Okay, we'll wait for that to load. So this is, it says you have to have some fun. Kids along a flooded street in Glen Cove. Elsa leaves behind chest-deep water. So this is, again, in Glen Cove. My kids would be out there just the same. And then we have here a lot of people are
Sealer, dog. Sealer. Hold on there. Yo, stick it to 130. No.
I'm sorry, but he even has a Jamaican colored jet ski. Just going to point that out. I don't know if this is the Bronx. Is there a little Haiti in the Bronx? Is there an area in the Bronx where there's Haiti? This sounds like Haiti or Jamaicans.
Sealer, dog. Sealer. Hold on there.
Hold on.
Yo, stick it to one.
By the way, what does that mean? See da da. See da da. No. Does anybody understand what that is? I would.
Sealer, dog. Sealer. Hold on there. Yo, stick it to 130. No.
Stick it to 130. No. I want to know. Is he saying like 130? Stick it to 130. Is that what he's saying? I'm sorry. I had.
Sealer, dog.
Sealer.
Hold on there. Yo, stick it to 130. No.
I'm sorry. I want to know if that's slang. Like, stick it to 130. Anyways, and then here's another one. Everybody comments about, man, the commentators are better than the video.
Yo, nah, bro. Welcome to the Bronx, my nigga. Look at this fucking dickhead. Yo, this whole shit is flooded, nigga. Yo, nah.
So obviously, in some parts of the Bronx, this is the bad part. Though is some parts where there are already people that are struggling. I heard that we had a couple emails from people saying that all of their stuff was destroyed because they were bottom level apartments, and their house was flooded. They didn't have insurance. They don't have, one person even said like their electronics, their TV, everything's messed up. They were sleeping during the beginning of it, and then all of a sudden it was too late for them to stop, and it destroyed their stuff. So they said that they would send pictures of the damage. They said that their entire apartment's damaged, and that in their scenario, because of kind of how they are, they might have to stay in a hotel, and they don't have money for it, and they're trying to figure out a way to do that. So I am praying for the people that are, of course, in dire straits because of this. They're, of course, going to say that this is some sort of change to the weather and all of this. This is Elsa, the storm. We've seen this before, but this is New York City underwater.
Yeah, and not having flood insurance. I mean, this is probably, I don't know the Bronx. I mean, I know New York, I've been there, but I don't know if it's common to have these types of flash floods and to flood out certain areas like that.
Yeah.
But in my mind, I would think that most of those people don't have flood insurance or don't, and by the way, if you have, insurance, you have to have separate flood insurance to cover it. I mean, your regular insurance would just cover a pipe burst. It's not going to cover water coming through the walls from a storm. So, a lot of these people are probably hurting really bad now, especially on the bottom floors, like you said.
Yeah, this is very unfortunate. This is the video that I was trying to load earlier. This is, wow, this is, I want to say, all these look familiar. I guess they use New York so much in movies that, most of us that watch a lot of movies probably have seen every street in New York, but we've never been there. Like, I've never been to New York, but again, I feel like I've seen all of these in the backgrounds of videos. Wow, that is incredible. So if you have video, yeah, that's not real, by the way. If you have video or pictures that you want to send us, remember, you can go to marfooglenews.com, click on this thumbnail, or go to the top and go to play my video. There's a tab up here. When you click on that, it will bring you to a screen where you can upload your video or give us the link and permission to play it. Right here, you can actually go to the category, select what it is, if it's a sighting, if it's troops nearby, low-flying aircraft, whatever it may be, you can pick or choose your own. So remember that. We'll show it here on the show, an average viewership of anywhere from 50,000 to 100,000 people watching every day. Okay. Let's see here. Yeah, craziness. James Fox, thank you for popping in. You've been here for a long time now. I was just thinking about that, James. Thank you for your support on the channel. Thank you, everybody that does a super sticker over there. And then Linda Way, thank you for being the last one out, along with Ilea, good, awesome friend and awesome Foogle there. And then Randy Hilgert yesterday did a really awesome thing over there. So thank you. Phoenix 3558, I appreciate you as well. And before I forget, I do want to say thank you to the people that went over to the PayPal last show. And then today, Rianne, aka the Naughty Gypsy, says, thank you, Adam and Dex Mods, and your wonderful families for everything you are doing. Keep up the amazing work. God bless you all. Much love. Well, thank you, the Naughty Gypsy. I appreciate you. And then Zippy Mood, Cheryl W., Pam B., and Billy L. I really do appreciate you guys. I put out that post to thank you as well. So we mean it. Thank you for supporting independent. You guys are our backbone. And, I don't know how it would work without. So, and then speaking of which, we've been talking about this. If you haven't seen my video on Marfoogle News, then I suggest you go see it. Today, Cyber Polygon is starting. And there's a lot going on, and we have possibly just held down an exclusive story that we actually don't know how we are going to tell it. Because we might even need people to be live recording the show at some point so we can have redundancy, because it is very nerve-wracking when you get a big story like this. So we're going to try to work that out very soon, but it is regarding cyber events that have happened over the last 2 years. So hopefully that all works out. Hopefully we get that locked down, and hopefully we can do it in a safe way. Again, if you want to protect yourself against an EMP, though, or a Carrington event-like event, again, solar flare or CME, you can actually do so. If you do not know about EMP Shield, this company is not only working with agencies like DOD, DHS, but they're also working with the DEMSO team helping protect the Texas grid. You can get this kind of professional protection in the home sector. You can actually get one for your car. It takes about 6 minutes to put in. It's one of their most popular models, or you can get one for your house. You can get one for your RV, your solar system, your ham radio, and you get a huge discount. You get $50 off per device when you go through our code, and you help the show. So this is a good way to help us and protect yourself at the same time. We truly believe that people will end up thanking us in the event that this happens, which, by the way, we're going to be showing you some stuff in the next coming weeks that will show you for a fact that the government is basically saying this is a when, not an if. So marfooglenews.com/EMP. Again, go over there and say hi from the Marfoogle family. Dex, the next thing that we're going to be talking about is Beijing eyes new military bases across the Indo-Pacific. They're expanding, sort of like what the U.S. did, but now they're again doing exactly what we predicted 2 years ago when you started with me. They're expanding their bases.
Yeah, we keep catching them. Like they got a place near the entrance to the Suez. They've gone after different investments in ports in strategic areas across the globe, and now apparently they're picking up what used to be something that was critical for us during the WW time period, and it's kind of close to Hawaii too.
Yes, it is. So let me, I'll show you exactly what we mean here. And then, by the way, thank you. Lisa K23 says, okay, late for the East Coast, but we are all in. And then Bling on Grammy. Thank you so much. Jammer, it's J562. Scooby-Doo Right, Nana Deborah, Karen from Columbus. I appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you. All right. And then to show you here, it says, on a small sandy atoll smack dab in the middle of the Pacific Ocean lies a rundown strip that served as a critical U.S. staging and supply hub during World War II. Today, this 6,000-foot runway in the Pacific Island country of Kiribati, sorry about that, is once again on the front lines. Let me get myself out of the way so you guys can read here. Is once again on the front lines. This time, China has its eyes on the prized piece of geopolitical real estate, one located about 1,800 miles from sensitive U.S. military installations in Hawaii. Hawaii, once again. Dex, like it everything is pointing to Hawaii, and it's like it's super obvious. I keep telling people it's like a bad B movie where you know that the blonde girl is going to run up the stairs instead of out to the car that's running. It's literally right in front of us what's about to happen. Beijing is hardly content to limit the military basing pursuits to the South Pacific. The PLA is already making serious headway securing new bases in Cambodia, Tanzania, and the United Arab Emirates, among other locales. Whether or not Washington can derail Beijing's plan is anyone's guess. Either way, U.S. policymakers and military brass could soon wake up to a changed world where the PLA can project its power far beyond the tense Taiwan Strait. Dex, do you realize like this is them? This is exactly what I've been saying as far as they've made themselves the largest navy in the world by 100 ships. They have 100 more ships and craft than us in the Navy. And now they are trying to go for more bases because the U.S., that's another strength of ours.
The writing's on the wall. They've said it. It's their goal. They want to be the largest, biggest, most powerful superpower in the across the entire globe. Okay. And it's one thing for somebody to beat their chest and say they can do it. Like NK could say, oh, we're going to be the biggest and the best, but they don't have the resources, right? But China does. They have the resources, they have the people, they have the money, they have the ability to build and to
technology,
manufacture and all of the technology, and they are good at stealing technology and even copying technology, right? So, if that's their mission, it's gonna happen. And it's going to be a game where, if anybody's going to stand up to them, they're going to have to either be faster or better, or something else is going to have to happen. Otherwise, they will do it because they have the ability to, and it's their mission.
And we don't truly know what their spending budget is. They have a spending budget. The U.S. has always been historically the biggest spending budget for military, but then again, they could be hiding stuff. They can move stuff around. They can use money they don't need an offshore account. They just don't have to report it. As far as we didn't see it coming that they were going to surpass us in Navy size, and then all of a sudden, by the time we discovered it, they've got 100 more ships than us. The whole big thing was forever, everybody was like, oh, well, it's made in China and this and that. That's an old thing. Don't underestimate your enemies. And two, they have stolen all of our technology as far as look at, solar winds and everything else. They're all pointing that towards Russia. I don't know. Think about that. If they did get into all of the military branches, that means they very well could have all of our technology. What if this is the case? If we all have the same exact technology and we're fighting, there's no technological advancement, and it's down to sheer numbers, then that would mean we were screwed. Because they have 1.4 billion people, they have a larger physical army, but then again, they also have a larger draft. I mean, they have a billion more people than us. We don't even have 400 million here in the United States. They have 1.4 billion. Now, obviously, they can't. They could draft all of the men under 50, and they would already beat our entire population, let alone our military. So that's a huge deal. As far as if they're tied, though, in technology and they stole all ours, then that's not good.
Yeah, and let's not forget, when you say made in China, there's one side of the story, which is, everybody says it's made in China. Don't forget that everything that we're buying and consuming here is made in China. $451 billion in exports go from the U.S. to China, in dollars, I should say, from imports from China. That's $451 billion a year, more or less, that they're making. So they've got a treasure trove. They've got a lot of capital.
And yeah, they have tons of money. They have so much money. They're building ghost cities that nobody even has to live in. They say that that's for their finances or whatever else. They're getting paid hand over fist from the entire world. The entire world is just like us. We are their largest consumer, but of course, that's why people say, they wouldn't get into a conflict with us because they need our money. We're their best customer. I've heard that. I've seen that in the comments. But again, we would still be their customer if they took us over and then we end up being under their rule. We'll be their customer still, just minus half of our population that may not be buying their stuff anyways. If they take half of us out, that just means they'll be ruler over 200 million people that now are their paying customer again. Think about it. If think about WW2. If Germany had won, where would our world be if Germany had won? If Germany had its way, and this would be a completely different planet. They would have, if they succeeded, they would have taken everything, and they would have kept going and going and going. Now, I'm not trying to compare Germany to modern day China. But again, what would a modern day world be if China ruled the planet? Well, I bet you that we would have a lot less freedoms everywhere around the planet, and we would also be monitored every step of the way. Now, the U.S. is getting pretty bad. In fact, the U.S. is probably the worst offender as far as, tracking and monitoring its own citizens, including, having partnerships with all these tech companies that are basically selling us things that are like, hey, get this thing. You can ask it to order you a pizza, but it's also listening to your every freaking word, and it's recording you and your family in your house. And we're actually buying it voluntarily. But again, China owning the entire planet, which again, most of this stuff could be tied in with it anyways. That would not be a good thing. And that is their goal. They have said it. They've been very clear. It's going to be that way. And if that means that they need to infiltrate almost all of our government, they could do that too. They could pay enough people to where they did take over. It says Beijing is hardly content to limit its military basing pursuits, although the U.S. Defense Department China's task force recently characterized Beijing's as Washington's #1 pacing challenge. The Pentagon's 2022 budget continues over a troubling trend of treating the PLA as a long-term, over-the-horizon threat. Case in point, the Pentagon's wish list, for the new Pacific Deterrence Initiative doubles down on the costly, long-term, platform-centric investments at the expense of urgently pressing priorities, such as security assistance and funding to strengthen vital alliances and partnerships. Also missing from the initiative are funds to reassess the military's regional posture on account of the PLA's efforts to secure an expanded foothold in the Pacific. Now, over the past few years, if you've been under a rock, they have actually produced their own bases. They've created islands where there were none. They actually took dirt from the bottom of the ocean and kept piling with special ships up until there was an island. Then they turned that island into a fortified base and runway. And then they made another one and another one. Those are called the Spratly Islands. And I know most of you are like, oh, of course, I've known about that for years. There are some people, I still see questions in my email saying I mentioned the Spratly Islands. What are those? The Spratly Islands, in my opinion, is, when I say it's a halfway point, people are like, well, technically it's not. It's 300 miles short of... It seems to me like it's a forward operating base. So one of the deterrents from China actually invading the U.S. before is that it was such a long way that it would be harder to get everything over here in a right amount of time. Now, if you have something close to the middle or around the middle, you can actually stage stuff and then do your attack from there. On top of that, if you have enough Navy and amphibious ships, which all of a sudden they're just making crazy amounts of amphibious vehicles, amphibious aircraft carriers and everything else, you can then not only post that up in the Spratly Islands, but you can also post up by the Taiwan Strait and by the areas like the Philippines, kind of like what they did with these 200 ships with apparently or allegedly armed with paramilitary. These were huge cargo-like ships, 200 of them that you could see from space, all parked right outside of Taiwan. So it's like they could set up, and it looks like they already are. Then at the same time, if they're partnered up with Russia, and Russia's like, hey, I want to do my stuff over here on this side of the continent. I want to take Ukraine. I hate these guys. We've been butting heads for years. I want to take all of Ukraine, and I want them to be ruled under me. They make out some sort of deal here, and they go, oh, you take Ukraine at the same time you take this. It is fitting out to be the next world conflict where we all know where everybody sits. The only thing is there's going to be some surprises. There's going to be some countries, and we already know this, that are going to switch last minute to end up being allied with China and Russia. We've already seen it. We've stopped giving money to certain countries, and then guess who popped in? Russia and China. So the people that are denying that a conflict is ever going to happen, I saw a comment that says nothing is going to happen ever, period, or something like it was. It was regarding the cyber polygon and that there's this imminent cyber attack that they believe that's going to happen, right? He goes, nothing is ever going to happen, period, end of story. It's already happened. They've already hacked infrastructure. They've already hacked in important things. They've already shut down things. It's already happened. How would you make a comment like that? It's already happening as we speak. So just get ready. This lights out scenario is not one of a theory. This is something that we are all preparing for. The military is preparing for. You've got in every military base, they've got these side trainings going on of training in the dark. Look at the orders that they did. We covered this. When they were taking all of the night vision tubes from the entire planet, they used eminent domain to actually take the night vision tubes from the consumers and from the actual companies that were the middlemen that were selling them to all these, all these army surplus stores and all of these specialty stores. They actually went to those guys and said, we're taking all of your night vision tubes to make the night vision goggles. They used that. Why? Why did they need it so quickly? Why are they buying so many? Unless they're going to be fighting in the dark. Again, they said that that this next cyber event would make CV look like a small disturbance. That was the actual quote from Chris McGurty in that recent statement on Cyber Polygon 2021. Not 201. That was the drill that happened before CV. So you gotta practice and rehearse before you do a play. Just like football team members, just like a football team, they run with their own team, right? They practice offense and defense with their own team. Who else are they going to practice with, right? Stephen McMahon says the JB's press secretary said today that they have a strike force to go house to house and try to get the V hesitators to take the JAB. Yes, I saw that. And all over Twitter, people are putting up signs that basically say, do not come to this house and suggest that to me. If you do, I'll sue you. I'll punch you in the face. I've seen pretty much every kind of sign. I cannot believe that, if they need that, I would just have to say to you, like, if they have to try that hard to do it. And by the way, the actual 3-letter agency that is in charge of all that, look up the stats on how many of them are doing it. That's what's freaky to me. How many medical professionals are not? YLE Coyote, YLE Coyote. I like how you spelled that. Wiley Coyote, thank you so much for subscribing as well. Phoenix 3558, and then Dingo Jim. I love the name. Thank you as well. If you subscribe during the live show, you will get a shout out. Thank you so much, and I appreciate each and every one of you. Over on DLive, we have, of course, Matrix 45, Carolina Roots, Bug Nana. Thank you guys. And then Jammer1, thanks for gifting out badges. It looks like Happy Hippie Crochet is in the house. Mrs. H. We've got Peachy 1093. Has anybody heard from Gone Girl? I hope she's okay. Frankie74, Forest Farmer. We've got Amanda Rachel, Red Butterfly, Serenity PA, Snowboard, Chewy Weather in the house. We've got Store Marfia Blade. And then another thing, there's a story coming out, and I don't want to put down anybody that has this story, but I actually saw it in a comment on another video. In fact, I wonder if I can pull up my own video. And I wanted to show you it because Dex, I don't want to do it because it might be me for 10 minutes trying to look for it, but there's a comment on the last, I believe it's on the video that I did at 4:30 this morning, basically saying what everybody's saying about the gas stations. And it's a little bit of game of telephone. So I wanted to pull up that comment and basically say how that's a little bit different from what everybody is saying. Do you think you could possibly just look in the last few comments? Yeah, I'm looking now. See if I can find it. Okay, thank you so much. I'm going to show you that there's a lot of rumors about today. There's a lot of chatter about, one, there's a lot of banks that are resetting their systems. On top of that, Cyber Polygon starts today, oddly enough. A lot of people were saying July 9th. It won't matter after July 9th. And a lot of this. We've seen these dates come and go. Excuse me. And a lot of the times, it's from a game of telephone on internet stories. So I do want people to keep their head on a swivel, but a lot of the times it is nothing. And that's why we try to back up what we say and be very, very, very sure if we're going to tell you something like that, because it can scare people. I had people emailing me saying that they were terrified because another creator said that, something was going to go down today. That's why I think it is responsible to try to wait and, see before you stress out about stuff. So if you can look for that, if not, no worries. We'll try to cover that in some way without, pressing anybody's buttons. Because it's hard. It's hard not to talk negatively about somebody else, but then look at the info. Marines train with handheld swarming drones that can also be fired from 40 millimeter grenade launchers. We've actually shown you some of the technology that was out of trucks, but this is a handheld device, apparently. It says images shared online show Marines conducting training exercise with the Drone 40, a tiny quadcopter that can carry a wide variety of payloads. This is exactly what I was talking about. Look at this. This is a picture of this drone, and look at how small it is. It looks like the size of a news microphone. Only this could either have an EMP, it could have dynamite, it could have explosives, it could have it could have a microphone, it could have a video camera, it could have whatever. It could also have viruses. They could release something into the wild. Think about this. This can actually be made by an average Joe. Think about if you had what is it called? Not ricin. Think about if you had the anthrax or something like that, or some deadly powder you could put in this and actually go and fly it 10 miles away, release it, all from the safety of 10 miles away. This, I believe, is going to be the next T-attack bringer. Don't know who, don't know what, but think about that. These little devices, they could do much bigger than this, and also regular people with 3D printers can print the parts, and you can get all of the parts to do all of this without doing anything with the FAA or anything. You don't have to buy a DJI drone, which would be tracked. Anybody could do that. That's what's terrifying about this stuff. But this is a trip. I'm guessing I'm guessing the cord that's coming down almost looks like a fuse, but maybe that's the antenna, so it can go longer distance or something. I don't know. Or that could be a microphone.
Yeah, this thing can be configured with multiple payloads. It can do all sorts of stuff, from cameras to even things that go boom. So, and this exact model is the one that can swarm. So it can be launched from like a grenade launcher, from a rocket, or from a hand. And they can be combined together and swarm, and they can be autonomously managed as one group, or they can be networked into larger groups of swarms that can all be controlled under missions.
That is insane, especially if you have a whole platoon, each one of them have 1 or 2 or 5. Each one of them release them, then all of a swarm of explosives goes. And when you pair that with cameras and AI technology, then all of a sudden you have a technology that would seek out any human being in a certain area, or a specific human being, and then take them out. We've already seen it with the attempted assassination of the President Maduro, I believe. I think it was Maduro. Again, Dex, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe Maduro was the one that was at a photo op, and they tried to take him out with an explosive drone, which failed, but again did injure and possibly took out one of the security guards. It says, image shared online by the United States Marine Corps this week shows Marines conducting training exercises with the Drone 40, a miniaturized, low-cost, expendable drone that can be deployed by hand or launched from a 40-millimeter grenade launcher. That's the coolest part. This can actually be launched probably hundreds or thousands of feet and then take off. Or it could be launched at high altitude and nobody would even notice. While other nations have deployed the Drone 40 in overseas operations, this is the first time U.S. troops have been seen training with the versatile, potentially game-changing unmanned systems, which can carry a wide variety of payloads, including various sensors or small, high-yield explosive warheads. It says the Drone 40 tests were conducted by the 1st Battalion, 2nd Marine Regiment, part of the 2nd Marine Division, and took place at Camp Lejeune at North Carolina on July 7th, 2021. According to the captions accompanying the pictures shared by the USMC, this unit is an experimental infantry battalion to test new gear, operating concepts, and force structures. Imagine how fun it would be, though, to be actually training with those things. They're probably out in fields, blowing stuff up with those things, training. What is scary, though, is that if we have them, so do the bad guys, and so do the terrorists. So think about that. And then we have, of course, China tested an AI-controlled submarine hunting underwater drone a decade ago. It says reports suggest that China may have been testing a torpedo-armed underwater drone able to detect, track, and attack enemy submarines all the way back in 2010. It says a new report claims that China has, apparently for decades now, been working on underwater drones able to autonomously identify and attack hostile submarines. The once secret unmanned underwater vehicle, or UUV, may have already been tested in the strategically vital Taiwan Strait back in 2010. These revelations come from a military-funded research program that was partly declassified last week. According to the South China Morning Post, or SCMP, a Hong Kong-based English-language newspaper, the UUV in question is said to be able to recognize, follow, and attack an enemy submarine without any human instruction, and was developed by the Harbin Engineering University, which SCMP described as Beijing's, quote, top submarine research institute. So this is supposedly what the thing looks like. And what's even creepier, it's even outfitted with the Chinese flag there. Like that's why I say, people think that they're so technologically behind. If they were doing this back in 2010, think about what they have now. I would not. I don't care how much more advanced we are. I would never want to see a conflict with them. Look at this though. It's like, it's so crazy to me that these are enemies. Is that a Mercedes? That can't be a Mercedes. That looks like a Mercedes truck. It's like, this isn't NK, so they have access to all the same companies, and it's like, that's what just boggles my mind. These are technically enemies of ours, but yet they do business with everybody, and we're doing business with them. It's like we're right at the edge or the teeter-totter of conflict with them, yet everybody is just swapping spit. OZZ, thank you for subscribing as well about 9 minutes ago. And then we have Backwoods Ingenuity says, C's best chance is a conventional warhead. Unconventional in our backyard will tank their numbers. So many hunters here. Live free, travel light, work hard. And then Stephen McMahon, again, thank you. I appreciate that. Crazy. And then U.S. sending FBI, DHS, law enforcement to Haiti. Dex, what do you think about this?
Well, at first we thought they were sending troops, but now it looks like we're sending more specialized, law enforcement officials in there. Obviously, there's some investigation that's going to have to go on, and maybe there's even some, jockeying we're going to have to do to help convince people that we weren't involved. So I imagine that's why they're there.
It says the United States remains engaged and in close consultation with our Haitian and international partners to support the Haitian people in the aftermath of the assassination of the president. White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki said. In response to a Haitian government request, senior officials from the FBI and the Department of Homeland Security will be sent to Port-au-Prince to assess the situation and see how to best assist. So they're sending our people after sending our people. Well, looking at the situation, we sent our specialists in, and now we're going to send our specialists in. Yep, that's pretty much how it works. Steve, you can check out. I'm checking in now. It's like the cartoon where the one wolf says, "Hi, Bob. Hi, Bob. Bye, Bob. Bye, Bob." And they check in and switch, watching the group of sheep. Pretty dumb.
But did you notice the $5 million payoff to the police?
Oh my gosh. Okay. So it says the United States is providing $5 million to strengthen the Haitian national police capacity to work with communities to resist gangs. I did not know about that.
But the police were the ones that responded to this, right? And they were the ones basically running everything, and so now we're paying them $5 million.
Why though?
Well, of course, they're telling us right here why. It's all about community and strengthening the, you know, the efforts against gangs. But yeah, there's a $5 million payoff. That's what that is.
Speaking of community and speaking of police and national, have you been following the situation with? They're talking about an international police force in the United States and possibly even in UK and other places. That would
be horrible.
So what is crazy is after looking into it, this is actually quite a reality after last year and this year. They want to defund the police and do all of this. Now they're talking about an international police force. I mean, what does this sound like? This is history repeating itself. I don't see how people don't see what is going on right now. And it's like nobody paid attention in history class, obviously. If they did, they would see that this is right before WW2 happened and even WW1 in a lot of ways. Okay, so let me see if I can pop this up. I wanted to talk about some of the chatter here. So let's see. I'm going to close this out so I can pop this.
Did you get that link?
Yes, I did. I just
good.
Loaded it up.
It should take you right to that comment.
Let's
I hope that's the one you were talking about.
Shoot, it might. Did you highlight it, or did I highlight that? I can't remember.
That link highlights it. That's a special link I sent you.
Oh, you're so smart. This is actually not. So I got two of them. All right, so let me make sure everybody can see this. All right, so no, actually, there was a comment of a woman saying that she said that her trucker company, that her boss told her that when she gets to 1/10 of a tank, that they will not get any more gas and to just shut down her truck. And I thought, okay, that's kind of weird. Because now there's a story, and this is how things work. Nobody sourced this, right? It says, I just heard that Pilot and Flying J trucker stations are not getting any more fuel delivery. It says to shut pumps off when they reach 10%. Now, I don't know if when the whole shutting off the pumps at 10%, so it doesn't, maybe it hurts the tanks or something if it goes too low. But I want to see the 13 replies here. Now, I believe there is a story going around, and I don't know if it's true or not, but what I will say is that even if the original story is true, people are telephoning this, and people are straight up lying, because people took that original story, and now they're saying, and I'm not calling anybody a liar that in that comment, maybe that was a separate thing, because I don't have it in front of me, but it sounded like that person was saying that they work for a trucker company, and that their personal truck, when it ran out of gas, they would just pull over. And I'm like, that's totally unrelated to the other story. Or is that other story coming from that comment? Or, what is actually going on here? It's the game of telephone and internet rumors without backup and without a source or without any kind of actual information behind it, or without, some sort of piece of paper from that company saying, hey, this is what we need to do. It can harm the internet flow of information, because it's not necessarily fake news. It's then altered news, because people are passing it on and on and on. And then I don't know why people make up stuff or lie. Maybe it's because they want to, get people to, believe it or add to the kind of mystery of it, or they want to participate in it or something, or they misheard it and they want to pass it along and give it validity. I don't know. But again, if they're saying to turn off, do we know the full story? Are they doing it because of something else? And again, I'm not talking badly about anybody that may be sharing the story, because I don't know. Maybe their story is correct, but people are taking their story and then altering it drastically, or the game of telephone. And then all of a sudden you've got this wacky internet rumor that doesn't make any sense compared to the original story that was shared, which may be true. Again, I think that the person that shared the original one, maybe that's true, my point is more so that people take this stuff and run with it, especially when it lines up with a date that everybody's talking about. And why they do it is sometimes it will link into their channels, or it will link into a smaller channel that's doing a video, July 9th, it all goes down. And then it lines up with, Cyber Polygon, and it lines up with this gas story, or it lines up with this. This is what hurts us, though. And the reason I do care is because it ends up then feeding back and then looking bad for all of us. And then they end up going through and purging a lot of us, saying that, we're sharing this or that. That's why we try to back up every single thing that we do, if we can. Because then there's no excuse for them to go, hey, you made this up, or you said this, or you shared something you didn't. And trust me, we try to do the best job we can, but even we make mistakes. I don't know. I don't know if it's on here. I swear to you, it was basically took the story and kind of played with it and turned it into something else. And I'm like, that's totally doesn't make any sense. And maybe they heard the story that the trucking company would, the cars would pull over. It's the pumps that they say are going to shut off at 10%, not the trucks. Let me go over to the chat, see if you guys understand what I'm sorry that I'm not doing the best job of explaining this.
I may have found the right comment if you want it, but you can try that other link if you want.
Can you please, again, like if... let me look at it.
A lot of comments to sort through. I was trying to find it. I think that's the one.
This is the top comment here, and then no bad thing. This person is just strictly saying like I just heard that pilot and Flying J Trucker station, and this person's just saying that they heard it, right? Let's see here. Remember this quote: majority of the exercises are recommended for great results. Let's see. I don't know if there's some of you. I think you just went. Some of you may have just went over there while I was looking at this. That's funny. Okay, let me load up this other comment. The point is, this is actually becoming kind of a huge, chatter story right now, and we don't know if it's necessarily true. So that's all I'm saying is just it panics people. I had people panicking about this, saying that, they just went out and got a barrel of gas.
Attention for today's
video.
video.
A barrel. Let's see. Did it highlight it again? Okay, let me try to do this so it doesn't. Okay, so our truckers were told today is their last fuel supply. When they get to 1/10 of a tank, shut it down. All food and supplies are about to stop. See pinball preparedness and off-grid desert farming. Okay, I did not know about off-grid or desert farming. Again, I don't know what story they're referencing, but it seems like there's multiple stories here. Which one is the correct one? That's all I'm saying. I don't know which one is correct. If you guys know, please correct me, or if you can point me, I will make sure to go check out after the show both of those channels. I believe I've heard of pinball, but I've never heard of the other one, so I will make sure. I love finding new channels, and if they're right, I will correct it on the next show.
Now, the one thing we have covered, Adam, to be absolutely clear, is there has been a tanker driver shortage, and we covered this about 2 weeks ago when we said, hey, there's a potential for fuel shortages in the summertime when it's the highest usage. But it wasn't supposed to necessarily be something like we had when the pipeline went down. They were just saying, it's just going to be harder to get fuel in certain places, and you'll see a little bit here and there. It's not going to be a massive outage, and it's because tanker drivers were in short supply. If you think about it, what happened during CV is nobody was driving, nobody was buying a lot of gas, and a lot of those tanker drivers were either let go or they moved on to other types of positions, and they just didn't have as many tanker drivers. And now they're trying to ramp back up to the huge summer demand of what it used to be, right? Everybody's traveling, and there's a shortage of tanker drivers. So that was something that was factual that we reported in the news a couple of weeks ago. And that's just want to put that one out there. But
and again, that's why I want to know what it is, and we'll go over it. We'll actually try to figure out exactly what it ends up being. We'll look at it. We'll look back at it, and we will correct whatever we said wrong here. I want to point out this one comment though. Melissa C. 14 hours ago says, I just spoke out with a coworker who laughed when I told her about the military drill and preparations. She actually wrote, I laugh at the religious people who prep. We don't even think about it. All I could think was, quote, fools mock, but they shall mourn. It makes me sad. So when people say that, I hear that a lot. When they think prepping, they think of religion. They think of religious people. What are you talking about? Like, that person is, in my opinion, ignorant. It's not a religious thing to prep. It's a responsible thing. This person is literally the perfect example of a person who just thinks that the police and the military are going to come save you. When things go bad, they don't. Look at Hurricane Katrina. When Hurricane Katrina came down, it was martial law. It was every man for themselves. The sheriffs left and saved their own family. They're not going to come save you, lady. They're not. And when it does go down, everybody that's laughing at us will, again, fools mock, but they shall mourn. I have fun as much fun as I can, but at the same time, I hope that the message is getting through that you need extra food, you need extra water. It's not a religious, crazy, fanatical thing. It's simply a responsible thing. Everyone is bound to go through some sort of disaster, whether it be a power outage, whether it be an earthquake, whether it be a tornado, and every damn person is caught with their pants down. Why? Especially when we are in a day and age right now where a couple days or a couple weeks can change the global order of things. I mean, come on. After CV, you should probably realize that the last expected thing to happen will happen. And it's going to happen. In a cyber age where power and everything else is connected to the internet, there are evil people out there, and they are constantly and consistently trying to shut it off. And go, well, why would they do that? They're shutting off their own power. Guess what? They know. There are people out there that want to take out millions of people. And some of them are in very, very powerful positions. Because guess what? It really is the truth that when you get to a certain point, these people are in a different category than us. They believe we are sheep. They literally think of us as the stuff on the bottom of their shoe. But people don't believe it, and people laugh. But guess what? That same lady that says, I laugh at the religious people, we don't even think about it. That same lady, when anything goes down, she's going to be screaming, crying, having a panic attack, doesn't know what to do. And she's going to call her friend, Melissa, and say, do you have anything? We don't have anything. We don't have anything. We're not prepared. I laughed at all of that. I laughed at all of you guys. I'm sorry. It's stupid. All right. And then, again, while we're on the subject, if you don't have a virtual private network, I would highly recommend getting one. This can protect you. It can protect your identity if you don't want to deal with identity theft. NordVPN is not only one of the best, but it is one of the easiest. Once you download and install it, you can either pick the place that you want your IP address to be, what country, what continent, or you can do automatic mode where you just press on and off like a light switch, and it will actually hide your IP. You can undo it and do it whenever you want to. It's literally a slider tab on and off. You can go to marfooglenews.com/VPN to save huge, up to 70% off on different plans. Again, the 3-year plan, I believe you get to save the most, and you help the channel out. Every single person that you end up using that link will end up giving us a small commission and then helping us run our stuff. Thank you. Thank you in advance for everybody that is about to go over there and sign up, and thank you for everyone that has already done that. Remember, one account works on 6 devices. That's again 6 simultaneous connections, which means your phone, your tablet, your kid's phone, your kid's tablet, your wife, your husband, whoever, all of them are covered under one account. All right, thank you. And then that, again, that is worth it just for the ad blocker that's contained in it. Not to mention you can get regionally locked content on Netflix and Hulu. Say you want to see the top 10 in France. Put yourself in France. Or a locked website like Google. In some countries, you can't even access it. You can use a VPN to actually do so. All right, and then going over to the
Adam,
go ahead.
There was a jet. I just want to make sure you saw it. And I think that it was Gone Girl, and I think she also did something on YouTube. She's all over the place.
Sorry for the long what. Gone Girl 777 up in the house. Gone Girl, thank you so much for your support. It looks like you did pop into both. Elahim M, thank you, said it's coming. Let's see what Gone Girl said. Gotta pop that open. It says, "Hi Adam, Dex, mods, wives, Foogle fam, I love you all. I will catch a replay. I'm dancing at a biker party, raining, so might get to dance all night. LOL." That is awesome. Gone Girl is always riding her. She has this badass trike that is absolutely amazing, and that is awesome. Thank you so much, Gone Girl 777. You don't have to do that. I was just worried that you were okay. Usually you show up every show. There are a lot of people like Maui Racing Realtor, every single show. River Sticks, hey, what's going on? We've got tons of people. Stormy is always here. CJ Blaze, obviously my mods. So thank you so much for popping in and letting us know that you're okay. Jay Scorpio says there was a report on the Young Turks recently. On what? I'm unfortunately I don't watch because I don't like that main guy, but if you can send a link, I would love to see it. Flying J story from May 12th, 2001. Huh. Radio Plem C says Flying J story from May 12th, 2001. I'd love to see it. Oh, sorry, 2021. So you're saying it's from May 12th. I don't know. Send us the link if you can. Adam at marfooglenews.com or Dex at marfooglenews.com. Jay Scorpio, thank you, says this was Wade's the Young Turks. Huh, okay. I'm going to copy this and paste it for later. Hold on. Thank you for that. Boom. All right, I'm not going to pop it on there yet. Hold on. And then Out of the Woods, that Chowky Gal, Jaybird42, thank you so much. Running with Scissors, I appreciate you. And then Storm Marf Blade X69, thank you for the Ninja Genie. Says, much love, Adam Mods and Foogs from Bremerton, Washington. Submarine veteran. Us 07, salute. Hey, salute to you and thank you for your service. I appreciate you. And then T308 and Texas Patriot just followed. I love Jesus forever. The Pillars, Dana F. And, of course, Jammer. Thank you for holding it down over there with the Naughty Gypsy. And, of course, Chance Paladin. Thank you for modding everybody that's over there keeping the peace. All right. Getting back to the news, NASA is quietly funding a hunt for alien megastructures. It says detecting technosignatures, such as hypothetical Dyson spheres in space, could lead us to extraterrestrial life. And now NASA is funding the search. In the last decade, we have devised amazing instruments to glare unflinchingly, which I didn't know was a word, at the stars and discovered that other planets are common around them. It says, and discovered that other planets, these exoplanet discoveries, have thrown gasoline into the fire of the astrobiology field. It says, where scientists seek to explore whether life might exist beyond Earth, but they also have fueled SETI or the search for extraterrestrial intelligence. If life does evolve on other worlds, then we may very well find more than just biosignatures like oxygen. We might find technosignatures too. These are things like radio signals or even megastructures, that is, artificial objects on a gigantic scale, such as a hypothesized star-sized supercomputer, now supercluster, reported in an article this week. NASA has quietly begun to fund the search for such alien megastructures for the first time in the agency's history. Dex, what?
A star-sized supercomputer. Okay, that's crazy to think about. I mean, like, we think about these supercomputers that we build, and even like the biggest craze and all that. They're like, they can fill up a huge room in a building, right? And I guess you could chain a whole bunch of those together. But to think that technology somewhere evolved so much that they built computers that were as big as a planet or as big as a star, that's kind of crazy.
Well, because we've heard about this. There was rumors about. Do you remember what? I think you were with me when we covered this, but there was some sort of dimming of a planet, which they thought it very well could be this structure that was a star, so it was like a sun. And they thought that it might have been a structure sucking power off of the sun. Were you with me when I covered that?
Yeah, I do recall that. That's all of these hypotheses are just fascinating to think about, right? It's like almost real life science fiction, right?
Well, and they saw this. Wow, I missed several people here. I'm so sorry, you guys. Obviously it wasn't loading right. But do you guys remember that when we covered that star that it kept dimming? So they hypothesized this weird kind of rotating structure around the planet. Now they're quietly funding the search for these giant structures, specifically biosignatures and these structures. Searches for biosignatures have been well funded for the last few decades. In contrast, technosignature finding has been an up and down history. In 1993, NASA famously killed a search program intended to find microwave signals that were artificial in origin. That had a chilling effect for a couple decades, said Steve Croft, a radio astronomer and leader of the Breakthrough Listen project at the Berkeley SETI Research Center. But there are signs of a thaw. Basically, since the end of 2019, NASA has awarded 4 grants to fund searching for technosignatures. In November 2020, NASA awarded a grant to Anne Marie Cody of the NASA Ames Research Center and Croft to survey the whole sky for anomalous objects that transit across stars. It is possible, however uncertain, and they and their collaborators will find artificial alien megastructures. What a frickin' trip. By the way, Bones, I missed you. You don't have to do that. Thank you, Bones. I appreciate you. Thank you for the super sticker with the super emoji. And then Sir Budrick says, Marf is working on his Jamaican patois for Jam's voiceovers. That's hilarious. John Galletti, wait until he tries to go through the Van Allen radiation belt, says John Galletti. And then Amber B. Subaru WRX says, I just bought a Marfoogle sticker from Teespring. That's awesome. Thank you. And then James Fox, where are you going to put it? Are you going to put it on your car? I wish they did like big ones. CLT Whomper Gonzo, thank you so much. Gunpowder Production says, have you heard about Flying J and Pilot Truck Stop shutting off fuel to franchise owners? Gunpowder, I didn't see that, but that's exactly what I was talking about. If it's just that brand, like what, I would love to know the actual information behind that. So what I was saying is that is probably a true story there. And then the people on the internet that take these stories and then twist them, I don't understand that. Turning it into, the trucks are going to pull over when they're out of gas. Like, I don't understand, how it gets changed. And it wasn't even that comment. It was another comment. So what I see all these comments, and it's like the game of telephone where the story changes 10 different times because one person is telling the other, and then all of a sudden you have an entirely different story there. Stephen McMahon, again, thank you. Vanessa Doe says, door to door for V is to get us to whip out the boom boom so the UN comes in. It's a setup. Don't answer your door. I don't get it, though. They can't, even if they come door to door to ask you to do it, I don't think they can make you, right? Not yet, anyways. Backwoods Ingenuity, thank you again. Gone Girl 777, you didn't have to do that on both platforms. Says Adam Dex Mods Wives, thank you. I get it now. So it's raining, so you can't ride your trike home until it stops. LOL, love to all. Thank you, Gone Girl. Obviously, you're always watching, even if you're not saying something, because you always pop up at the craziest times. So thank you so much. Stephen McMahon says the story of solar wind could be fake, and the cyber freakout coming could be by our own government. That's a theory as well. Billy Leather says, usually watch the replay, so had to say hi when watching live. Thanks for all you and Dex do. Wish I could meet the Google fam or the Foogle fam in the Salcombe area. We need Foogle t-shirts. There is over, if you go to the website, you can get those. Information came from website on Fuel. So again, I don't want to talk badly about any. I'm saying his story could be true, but it could be the game of telephone that messes it up. Elohim M, thank you so much. On Jenny, thank you. So if we tell a story about something and then people take that and then rotate it 10 times or tell their coworker and then their coworker tells it but doesn't remember the exact details, that's where you get the game of telephone, and that's where you get fake news. I mean, literal fake news. It's not the San Andreas, but the fault system that produced the 6.0 quake poses big dangers. So lots of nervous people in this area after that 5.9, 6.0. It says the magnitude 6.0 earthquake that rattled parts of Northern California on Thursday caused no injuries and little damage, but it is a reminder that the Sierra Nevada area at the epicenter of the quake is capable of a destructive temblor and is seismically active. The earthquake, centered on the California-Nevada border, was felt as far west as San Francisco and as far south as Visalia, California, in the San Joaquin Valley. The epicenter was about 167 miles northeast of San Francisco and 125 miles northeast of Fresno. It says, while much of California's earthquake risk has been historically focused on the San Andreas Fault and places like Los Angeles and San Francisco, quakes are capable of causing significant destruction in the state's Sierra Nevada and Sacramento, San Joaquin River Delta and Nevada area. It says Thursday earthquake occurred on the Antelope Valley fault system of the Eastern Sierra, unrelated to the Antelope Valley of Los Angeles County, 275 miles to the south. The fault is a small portion of the Sierra Nevada frontal bounding fault system, which creates the dramatic landscape drivers see when traveling the US 395 on the eastern edge of Sierra Nevada in places like the Owens Valley. This is horrible writing, by the way. Can I just say that not all newspapers are made... I almost think that some people just don't read their own writing like ever. Sorry, but do you guys know what I mean? If you ever read something like this, I don't think... Okay, there was one period. There was one period in that entire thing. That is called run-on sentence. Sorry, I'm somebody who had majored in this, so again, it's just incredible. People don't know how to break things up and give it dramatic twist here. Anyways, sorry. You guys know I point out every bad article writing, like ever, and sorry, that's OCD. It says this is a small earthquake along essentially that whole fault system, and that's a very active structure, Austin Elliott, a U.S. Geological Survey research geologist, said at a news briefing Thursday after the quake. One of California's most powerful earthquakes on record was in the eastern Sierra Nevada, where a magnitude 7.4 in Owens Valley earthquake at Lone Pine in 2018 resulted in the deaths of 27 people and destroyed the main buildings in almost every town in Inyo County. No joke, is it really called Inyo County? Dex, have you ever been in Inyo County?
No, I've not been in Inyo County.
What county is it? It's Inyo County. It's Inyo County. Where does all the fun stuff happen? In Yo County. Sorry. The Reno area has an earthquake risk approaching that of San Francisco. The faults in the basin Reno sits in are capable of generating earthquakes as big as 6.8, which is huge. And a larger fault in the Carson Valley just south of Reno could generate a quake as large as a magnitude 7.4, according to the Nevada Bureau of Mines and Geology. 7.4, every point goes up exponentially. So it does make a difference if it was taken down to a 5.9. Even that 1 point is exponential. That 1 point goes up every single time. So pretty crazy. TYJ fam, thank you for subscribing. Terry Walker, welcome to the Foogle fam. Thank you for subscribing as well. Welcome to the live show. Another extreme heat wave in the West threatens all-time highs. It's become a common concern in recent years. Extreme heat waves plaguing the western United States. Now, for the third time since the beginning of June, a life-threatening heat wave is underway. While this event is not expected to be quite as unprecedented as the Pacific Northwest heat wave last week, all-time records will be challenged in major cities like LV, Fresno, and Redding, California. This latest heat wave comes on the heels of the hottest June on record in the United States. A new study published Wednesday shows that the Pacific Northwest heat wave from June 27 to June 29th was made at least 150 times more likely by human-caused change. See how they threw that in there, Dex?
I see it. And you know what's crazy is in the South here in Georgia, it's like been so cool. Like we haven't even had anything that's been really, really hot, and it's kind of annoying because we're used to having a hotter temperature. Like, you know, if you want to go to the lake or go to the swimming pool, they're not hot right now. They're cold. In
Hotlanta. So that's weird. And it says even in today's heated climate is a rare 1 in 1,000 year event. And it says the study by a collaboration of 27 climate scientists warned that if we keep warming the climate, extreme heat waves like this will happen once every 5 to 10 years by mid-century. So by 2050. That's so crazy. Although the Pacific Northwest will be hot in the coming days, the core of the latest heat dome is centered further south over the desert Southwest and Southern California. Heat domes are persistent mountains of warm air stacked vertically in the atmosphere caused by slow-moving or even stalled patterns in the jet stream called blocks. So the jet stream is blocked apparently right here, and that's going to cause this crazy, crazy hot weather. So up here, it's going to be in the 80s, but down here we're looking at the next like crazy, crazy hot, heat wave like what we saw. Now, let's see here. Yeah, so if you have any video or pictures of crazy weather that ends up happening or something that you just think is completely absurd, like a naked guy running down the street with the wet towel because it's so hot, don't send that. But send something that's funny. You know, if you guys have, of course, in innovative ways that people are, staying cool, send it to us. Adam or Dex at marfooglenews.com. Remember, choose one of us or both, Dex at marfooglenews.com or Adam at marfooglenews.com, or end up CCing both of us. And then Backwoods Ingenuity, thanks again. I appreciate that. It says, man who claims he died for 23 minutes says he was being pulled into the depths of hell where he saw a pit of burning bodies. Dex, do you want to talk about this? I watched part of the video of this gentleman talking about it, and it's creepy because it's very believable.
Creepy. Yeah, you hear these stories, like these near-death experiences, people that have, gone to the other side for a few minutes or 5 minutes or 20 minutes. In this case, I think it was 23 minutes. And usually you hear about a light, or you just hear about darkness, or you hear about something. But his description is just extremely clear as to what he saw, what he felt. And it's kind of interesting to hear. I mean, at the end of the day, it's sort of like space. Until you go there, you'll never know, right? And so, this is just one person's words. It's what he wants to say and what he, presumably experienced, right? So we'll never know what is going to happen for any of us. But his experience was pretty profound when you listen to what happened to him, how he literally was dragged down this tunnel. He was, had these demons that were, basically breaking his bones, and, the fire and the brimstone and everything. It's pretty intense. Now I guess he has a book to sell too.
Well, of course, but his description is pretty gory. And what if he's telling the truth? His chest was ripped apart by demons, and it's really gory and descriptive. But he really truly was dead for 23 minutes. I believe it says that he was getting an angiogram done or something, and then his heart stopped and something else. But for a very long time, he passed. He was actually technically dead, and they were going to call it, and then miraculously he survived. I've seen this, and I've had this happen. I was supposed to die for 45 minutes. The EMTs would not put me in the ambulance until they had me, basically had me breathing again. So I was, I died, and I did not see hell or heaven, but I did have my own weird experience, and apparently somebody was there. So if you guys heard that story, then you guys already know. But I do believe that, at least something happens. Some believe it's the DMT in our brain getting released or something. But again, I think that this is very creepy. The bad part, though, when they start selling books, though.
This did happen to you in the way it happened to him, and you had that kind of traumatic experience, and you come back, you're going to probably think a little differently about how you live the remaining years of your life on Earth, right?
I guess, but again, yeah, I thought I talked to God when I was in my early 20s and did DMT on accident. And again, DMT was basically in a bowl of weed, and I just basically hit the wrong bong in the bathroom, and boom, I was talking to God. So at the same time, I think that, this guy could be just doing it for attention. Is he like a pastor? And if he is, why did he end up in hell instead of heaven? Or, what's going on with this guy? Now he's doing speeches. The thing is, the picture they show of him, he's got, one of these pastor mics on. I don't know. There's a lot of new age pastors and people that I don't trust. This was on the 700 Club, so take that with what you will. I like the 700 Club. Not everybody does. I've been watching it since I was a kid, so... And then let's tell them about the Too Hot for TV, Dex. There's a lot of it.
Well, yeah, absolutely. So if you head over to marfooglenews.com and you click on the thumbnail for the show and you scroll down past all the news we've covered, you get the rest of the news that we can't cover. Stuff that's just too hot for TV, too opinionated, two-sided. There's a plethora of information. We go out and we gather as much other information, other news that we can't talk about, and we put it there. So lots of things still going on with the bean counters. And there's that some new documents that came out from the three-letter agency regarding Mr. Rich that you guys definitely want to look into. And plenty of other things happening in the news that we can't necessarily talk about, even things with the V's. So, all right, head over to marfooglenews.com, click on the thumbnail for the show, scroll down to web-only content.
Again, all of this is going to be available there. You can see as I scrolled through some of the headlines there, and you can understand why. Just none of the platforms will let people talk about that kind of stuff. And then again, if you want to support us over on the right, you can. Thank you to multiple people here tonight. Thank you so much for all the mods. Put an M in the chat for the mods. They had a crazy job to do with all the new people. We gained about 7,000 people just over on this channel in the last week and a half. So lots of new people that don't really know. Again, we don't talk smack in the chat. We don't talk badly about other creators. We don't talk badly about other people. Within reason, there's opinions about certain profile people, but again, we try to keep it nice. And I think that everybody pushing each other up, especially to each other in the chat, that's how you do it. Next week, we will have calls. There was a couple people that really stood out this week that were saying, hey, I really need to get in We were working on our phone system this week. Normally it is a live show. Again, normally there's a scrolling number down here. This one. So, again, we will have that going again next week. So that will happen. And then hold on here. Let's see.
Well, normally it's a live call-in show. It's always a live show.
Yeah. It's always a live show. But next week
this wasn't taped
call-in.
before a live studio audience or anything.
Do you have it? You know what I'm talking about. A track. Oh man, you got to use those sound effects more often, Dex. Like you're here, especially on the news only. Like you have those buttons in front of you. Use them. You know.
I hear you.
But apparently,
I never think of them, and I forget which button is which.
But apparently, it's just because you're not good at pushing buttons. Okay, I thought you were gonna do the dum chump, and I didn't know you had like actual laugh track there. So that's cool. All right. Anyways, yeah. Have a good night, Dex. Thank you so much for your service tonight. I appreciate you and
great show, brother.
Yeah. Can you read the top 3 over on D Live? I believe Gone Girl's definitely going to be one of them.
Absolutely. In the number 3 position, we have Jammer 1. And number 2 is Store Marf Blade X69. And in the number 1 position, thank you very much, is Gone Girl.
And I believe over on YouTube is Gone Girl as well. She went over to both platforms and is the number 1 supporter. So thank you so much, Gone Girl. I appreciate you. You didn't have to do that. Thank you so much. And then I believe second over on YouTube is... I think it's a tie. Billy Leather, Vanessa Doe, or Bones, everybody. There was several people that did the same thing. So thank you so much. I appreciate all of you. It is now officially time for the shoutro. It's not an outro. It's not a shout out. It's a what? I can't remember. It's a shoutro.
Ganga, 777 on the wall now. Everybody gonna go on the block now. Ganga, 777 gonna ride a try. When it rains out, it all dance and die. Ganga, 777 gonna dance all night. Can't undo it with the rain on bite. Ganga, 777 gonna dance all night. Can't undo it with the rain on bite. Oh, there, 777 gonna dance all night. Can't undo it with the rain on bite. Oh, there, 777 gonna dance all night. I say I drop it down like a wily coyote. I am to everybody with the peyote. And me go back down on the Cody. I'm gonna drop it down, go to the Stovey. I mean to bring back down in the moment. I'm about to do it in a moment. Gotta see it back round and I'm combing. Everybody threw down like a lion's in the spitting, and I do it down. I'ma hit it right back and I go it now. Got a names in the bar in the chat now. Gonna do it right back in the splat now. Like a bugs on a Lisa K23. On the cyber crime wishing you be. Everybody got the Maui. Raising realtor right behind the divine. And 1122 and I love the kind. People in the chat like a flood are shine. And the Mr. Man and the Mr. Dog kind. I like the lights dim, but I don't like them off. I like the lights dim, but I don't like them off. I like the lights dim, but I don't like them off. I like the lights dim, but I don't like them off. I like the lights dim, but I don't like them off. I like the lights dim, but I don't like them off. Why I said why I dry my eyes. I like the lights dim, but I don't like them off. I got a gun girl and a window. I'm about to go down with all my friends now. A crazy love just followed in the bone now. Oh no, when we bound go. I love Dodge Hounds and everybody knows now.
Start on the mouth, gonna bring down to the night, go back down on the feet, no brick finna brick winner. I gotta get down, dinner, oh no.
Rick River, I'm going down with the mine, and the Moxie 71 by my side. Yeah. I've got the Rio on the running link, going back down into everything. Did you say holding out Leah Johnson and the Smoky Mountain? Got the Noe on the kitty cat and the Joe that you know. I'm about to bring it back now. I never lie. Pizza guy, mighty toward me in the bite on the court. I'm about to go back down in the Christian Mercy. Gun girl, 777, gonna dance all night. It's raining now, so can't ride a trike. Gun girl, 777, gonna dance all night. It's raining now, so can't ride a trike. Gun girl, 777, gonna dance all night. It's raining now, so can't ride a trike. Gun girl, 777, gonna dance all night. It's raining now, so can't ride a trike. Gun girl, 777, gonna dance all night. It's raining now, so can't. Got it yesterday, 662. Morning, that's a dog truth, fairy articles. Gonna bring it down like I'm Hercules. I flex your muscle like John beats on time on the sip, no do. I'm bring back to I love, I beat now, ooh, now, back now, ooh. I like the lights dim, but I don't like them off. I like the lights dim, but I don't like them off. I like the lights dim, but I don't like them off. I just say all day haven't go to jail, trying to hand around the cars way. I say on the ambulance, I gotta be that Joe, you know. I gotta go back down in the true sweet share, you know. Got that on the Ricky on the sides and the bring back down. Everybody really wanna go fame now. Frown with the Miss Jammer 1 and the ping pound bound. I like the lights dim, but I don't like them all. I like the lights dim, but I don't like them all. I like the lights dim, but I don't like them all. I like the lights dim, but I don't like them all. I like the lights dim, but I don't like them all. I like the lights off, but I don't like them off. I like Tim, but I don't like Pavlov. Just kidding. Stick it that dirty man.
get the daddy man.